Hi there, welcome to the archives. Today is December 22nd. I thought I would try to remember the next couple of days, I'm going to be trying to get a couple of these folks out for the new year. Um, Over here, it's been really quiet over here. It's snowing, which I love, because I was worried that um, the rain had melted a lot of the snow the last couple of days. So I'm happy it's snowing. Um, I said I would try to go do some winter activities this holiday before the new year. So I'm happy it's snowing because I can get out there in my snow pants. Over here, it's been super quiet. A lot of meditation and reflection. I've been needing art. I colored this a couple days ago. I thought I would share. I find I went on Facebook today and a memory from a year ago was of another coloring I'd done. And I find as I go through this book specifically, December tends to be a month. Like this one I colored on December 4th of 2015. So I find like December tends to be um, a month where I turn to coloring for a lot of medicine. Like I didn't realize it until just now as I'm just talking, well, not just now because I saw the Facebook post earlier. Like, look, this is from December 2015. I feel like I usually color in December. Yeah, here's another December one from 2015. Bah humbug. So for folks who tend to spend the holidays alone now, right? Like this is from last year, December. Look, it has a year on it, right? So this is the one I saw on Facebook. I realized that a lot of these were colored. This is another December. These are both December. Like I feel like I really only color in December because it's like I need that extra. Well, this was in February. I don't know what was it? February 2016. Yeah, this is the beginning of the year one. Um, so I'm gonna get into the goddesses, but I just wanted to share those who spend like the holidays alone and stuff. Do you find you need more art therapy to kind of get through? Like, what are some things that are soothing to you? Look, this is from Christmas Day, Boxing Day 2015. Bro, I was going through it 2015 of December. So that was literally 10 years ago. 2015, we're in 2025. Yeah. But I feel like looking back at what I was going through then and what I'm going through now and how I handle things is like night and day, right? I still needed coloring then. Maybe that'll be my reflections for today. I also felt to draw. I think I'll be drawing some more in 2026. And so I was going through my art book, my little sketch pad yesterday. Um, this is what it looked like when I did it in here, and then I ended up hanging it up at home. And so um, I've been trying to big up myself in terms of being an artist and like really trying to claim that. And part of it is like returning to drawing. I used to love drawing as a kid, but I never really took it seriously. Um, and so that's what I've been doing here. Again, this one I started drawing again in 2017. When I moved back to Toronto, I was like, I need something. Um, that's Tupac. Well, if you can't tell, then again, this is just me returning to drawing for like some of the first times in years and years and years, right? And so this was the beginning of me realizing that like I could do something around different animals, different animals, and getting back to like my tribal roots as an Ashanti, as an Akan, trying to learn some of the Adinkra symbols because I weave a lot of Adinkra symbols in my art. So like that crab, for instance. Oh, are there any Adinkra symbols? Yeah, there are. The fun is like in getting you to also look to see if you can find where the Adinkra symbols are. Like there's one right there. There's some there. So I work with Adinkra symbols in my artwork, like at least in like the animal one. So usually when I do the animals, I do some sort of like a tribal print in there. Um, I've done crabs, I've done fish, I've done the bear. Again, this helps me tap into like the medicine of the the animals as well too, right? Like last night I did a snake. I felt like the snake was calling to me. This year was a year of the snake. Not yesterday was the solstice. As I wrap up this year, I wanted to spend some time with the snake, right? This is a really, really hard one to draw, and I think as I'm getting into like the goddesses book, I did Lilith yesterday, I did Mary yesterday, and it's gotten me thinking about like light and dark and good and bad and right and evil and what I had been taught as a Christian, as a Catholic about right and wrong and good and bad. But and being this programming that Christians are the good ones, we are the light, we are the good ones. But I grew up as a Catholic also seeing what Catholics and other Christians did around me that weren't um I'll for lack of better words, I'll say in alignment with Christ consciousness, right? So they were teaching you about right and wrong. Meanwhile, they're excusing, we're defending, we're pretending not to see a lot of quote unquote dark. But again, we are Christians, we're the light, right? Those pagans, those heathens, everyone else is the darkness. But then I was getting really confused because I would see everyone else almost as angels compared to what I was growing up around. I was like, but that Buddhist is really, really calm. You're an angry person. Like, do you see yourself in road rage? Do you see the way you talk to other people? Do you see that Buddhist is not doing what you do, but you think that Buddhist is going to hell and you're going to heaven? And it was very confusing. So this is a snake I did last night. It was really, really hard, right? Because it was like I've been taught that snakes are demonic, snakes are bad, snakes are evil. And as I was drawing it, it was just the cutest little thing. I couldn't tell if it was a duck at first with the beak, but I kind of liked it. And then I couldn't, drawing the tongue, oh my God, drawing the tongue was so hard last night because I was like, ooh, I feel like Satan is, are they gonna, has Satan taken over me? Am I on the evil side right now? Like, why am I drawing a snake, right? But it actually was so healing because it brought me back to I ended up instead of doing the snake that I saw online, I just ended up doing what I have on my tattoo. And so I got a tattoo a decade ago, 2015, 2014, 2016, I'm not sure. It was International Women's Day. I just had a beautiful ceremony with some friends at the time. One was a tattoo artist, and they drew out, so you see that I've always kind of been doing, I've been obsessed with this kind of art for a very long time. My first tattoo is on my left side over here, and it's of Africa. And again, it has Adinkra symbols. It's very like tribal, Polynesian, also West African inspired. And so my tattoo artist was a Filipinx person. And I asked them to incorporate parts of their culture. And so part of what they had done was they chose the snake tongue as their symbol. That I'm getting emotional as I talk about it. So I already have the Filipino. My tattoo's really, I need to get it redone because it's been over a decade and it's a little bit, but there's an Adinkra single there for energy, which I use in here as well too. And then the seahorse's mouth is what I drew as a snake tongue here, is what she was telling me, right? And so that's what I settled on last night. I was like, okay, this feels a little bit more healing. This doesn't feel so icky. It also represents, like, I do have that on my body as well too. And I went with Jinyame. So this is a Jinyame, a Dinkra symbol. Basically, the translation is like, except for God, right? There's nothing higher than God, which I felt was inappropriate with doing the snake because I think that's what the snake represents for me. It's just this kind of transformation, this metamorphosis, right? Where it's like you get so uncomfortable. This year was so uncomfortable. And really, it just brings you down to your knees where you just need to turn to something higher. You need to really humble yourself. I've been thinking a lot about, as a Ghanaian, we're obsessed with humble and humility, and we're always asking people to be humble. But then we are very, we act like, and we actually have grandiosity, which is why I did a paper on really asking Ghanaians to look at our own Ashanti domination. We're very superior. We do that supremacy thing, which when it colludes with Christianity or religion or Islam, it gets heightened. They don't want to hear it. But to me, that's what I think, right? We have this superiority complex. We're the best tribe. We are the, right? We're the most superior, the most dominant. And I come from warriors, and all of that is true. Um, but we're obsessed with humility. And I feel like that's what the snake reminded me of, right? I have to bring myself down to be like, you take control. This is what I want. I can't control a lot of this, which is what this year has felt. As a lot of this is beyond my control, but in this moment, I'm going to trust something higher is also with me, guiding me, walking me through this, right? God, Creator. I tend to call it the Holy Spirit. To me, it's the Holy Spirit, right? Um, I'll use God as well too, synonymously. Usually I also will say my creator, right? The one that brought me here, who has the keys to the whole blueprint. You help me. So all to say is, I guess this is more about my art. I've really been leading a lot of like art lately. Not really. It's just been like one night, 2 nights I colored. I did the dolphin a couple months ago in the summer. So again, as I do these animals, people can call it demonic or do whatever, but for me, it's really trying to, I pay attention to what calls me, and then as I'm drawing it, I see what are drinker symbols I want to do in this. Again, this one, I think it was just, this is the energy one. I do some kente prints as well too. Um, and it just helps me get out of my head of perfectionism, right? Because again, drawing is not my forte. I love to do it, but is it something that I would like sell my art to get to monetize? I mean, I need money, so I'm trying to monetize anything right now, right? But if I wasn't in survival mode, would I be doing it? Probably I would be doing it for fun. But also, I love having it around my house, right? Call me conceited, but I love being able to have aspects. Hold on, I have to go check the rice. Sorry. Um, all to say is I'll be drawing a little bit more. I think my 2026 project will be working on Nana SC series. So I've been working on a trilogy with an encore twist. So there's part four. I'm trying to get part four done now, the manuscript. But basically, it's an autofiction. So it's based loosely based on my life story. And the first part starts with her. She's 9 years old, arriving to Toronto. So this is the scene. She's on the airport. She's on a plane. You see the Toronto skyline. So I wouldn't call myself. I'm trying to claim illustrator. I think it might be something. Her her seatmate is praying the rosary. Again, drawing hands. I was saying last night is like will humble you. Drawing hands is so hard. At least for me, right? Because I'm not trained. I never went to art school. I never, even in high school, I barely took arts classes because my parents were like, why would you waste your time with art? So I never was able to, I played piano as a kid. I did take piano lessons with the Ontario Royal Conservatory of Music. So I do have some piano training. Again, I haven't played piano in years, so a couple years ago I did a pet sit where they had a piano and I was able to be like, oh yeah, A, B, C, D, like I could still remember, I could still read a little bit, but I ended in the fifth grade. So 2026, hopefully I can bring back more of the art. I'm gonna do a horse for sure for the year of the horse. Sorry, trigger warnings for those who find these animals taboo. I should have done that with the because I know the owl is taboo, which I'm going to get into next. We're going to get into the goddesses. Um, but so far, the couple we've done, the snake is a familiar one. We've seen a couple times with a couple people. The owl, we've seen come up a couple times as well too, with different goddesses. The horse has also come up. So those are some of the animals. I'm paying attention to the animals that some of the goddesses revered. And as well, it is also professional because I draw animals um, with the idea of doing meditations on the indigenous aspects, right? So for my culture, really, I usually wrestle through Like, why didn't I know this? Why did they hide this from us? Why did they think it's so demonic? What were they afraid of? Right? When they met my people, what were they so afraid of that they had to teach us that it was bad, right? And across the world, a vast majority of us were pagans. We believed in animism, right? And there's just a small majority of the world that didn't. And how did their way become what guides the majority of us, right? So that's kind of what I do when I do my art, is just really working through some of that religious trauma, really working through some of that colonized mentality, that teaching that says that our ways are wrong and bad and immoral when their ways were just as bad and immoral, if not worse, right? Because again, even though we're not perfect, our religions, our way of life was done in a way where we really cared about everything. The land, the animals. There was, right, they're like, well, you sacrifice children. And yes, in their ways they did as well too. That's not to justify it. But at the same time, now they're bringing in like this hierarchy and this patriarchy and the man, and it's just things that are different from our ways, right? So I'm gonna try to do one of these ones, but I guess is what this was, just sharing a little bit about my artwork, and the hopes I have for the new year and trying to do more art. So yeah, so for those of you who didn't know, I do draw. I also I love taking photography, taking photographs. Photographer is definitely something I want to be able to like claim proudly, and I want to do that in more years. I've never had a real camera like the professional cameras. I've had like those little, you know, Fuji's. I've had a couple of those. In the past, when I would travel, I would try to make sure I like had a camera. But that's what I mean. I've always loved photography, right? Whenever I did my travels, I was always documenting family photos, bunch of selfies. I still like will take random pictures of random things, travel shots, locations. I mostly love plants, the fauna, just taking random pictures of trees and flowers, and nature. I love documenting nature's beauty. So those are some of the avenues. I'll be doing hopefully a lot more illustrations and photography. I don't think photography I'll do a whole lot other than what I usually do, but I see it. Like there's an end goal where I'm able to like be able to afford a camera and take for more photography classes. And I would love to do, I love travel. I would love to like incorporate all of these different aspects of me that sometimes feel like they're so contradictory. So yeah, that's a little bit of my art. I'm gonna get into this next, okay? So until next time, in solidarity.